All right, welcome to episode 2 of That's It, That's All podcast with Alena. Today, with my amazing guest, maybe in the future, an amazing co host,
Okay.
um, Miko, my locticianist, y'all. So, all of y'all who ever wonder who do my locks so beautiful and make me look so beautiful and presentable, here she is in the flesh. It is her, she
Hello.
is real.
Hello.
Um, Miko, you want to say anything about yourself or about your business or
So my name's Miko. The name of my business is Twist for Tots. I specialize in micro locks, sister locks, and traditional locks. And I love what I do. That's You can find me on Instagram. That's if you want to see my work. I'm on Instagram under Twist for Tots.
Yes, and yeah, I think at the end of my very first episode, we did give her a shout out at the end of it, and I think her link, I did put her Instagram link at the end of that. If not, it'll be officially when this video get posted. So I'm just gonna jump right on in it today,
Okay.
because the last 2 days for me, Tuesday and Wednesday has been a very very interesting time for me on the internet. So I'm just gonna start off with saying, from a little bit of research, I found out that this skit that just recently went viral was it was just a skit, or the topic of it was the McDonald mama and daddy. Um, so everybody had a lot of opinions about it. Me and my cousin, we kind of went back and forth about it for 2 days. I found that the more people's statuses that I commented on, just with my personal opinion, a lot of my friends and family felt like I was attacking them about their opinion. And I'm all like, wait a minute.
Right.
I'm just giving y'all my opinion on the
Right.
situation,
Right.
because in the real retrospect for me is the females that I deal with, that are my friends and that I deal with on the daily. They ain't that type of mamas. They
Right.
gonna make sure their kids eat
Mm-hmm.
regardless of a man do it or a man don't do it.
Right.
I got some friends that have been in this situation, and they went out and got the other kids something to eat. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
they man, well, it's one less Happy Meal that I had to buy.
Right.
So it just struck a chord into me, because it was certain things in the video that was said, like, one, she wanted to expose him, then two, it was the comment about the food stamps for me. And so it made me start to think, has the government destroyed the black family, like what it used to represent, or what we tried to get it to represent?
Right.
Like, did certain laws or certain things happen in government that made the black family go further apart? Now, I know we could take it all the way back to slavery, where you meet your husband, and then y'all make a family, and then they go and take the family and divide us, and one kid over here, the husband over here, the mama over here,
Mm-hmm.
and they used to sell us out to different plantations. So the dynamic of the black family has been tarnished since slavery. But it's amazing to me to get to 2022 and still have this toxicity of like what black family is. And so maybe today we can address some things. You okay with that?
Yes, I am.
All right. So almost 70% of black children are born to single mothers. Those are mothers who are far from likely than married to mothers to be poor. Um, and so it makes me think back to when the government passed this law about no man in the house. And so, in case some of y'all don't know, when welfare or some of those acts was created back in the day, it was because white women were having a hard issue with recovering their husband's pension at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with that is, black people, we didn't have the same jobs as them due to different Jim Crow laws or different laws that were passed to segregation and stuff. And so when we did work jobs, we had to work jobs under the table, meaning we were not paying into Social
Right.
Security. We wasn't paying into pensions. We
Mm-hmm.
were not just paying into the typical things that are offered to us now. We didn't have those options then. So when we went to go apply for assistance, they would give it to us, but it was a hard time for us to give it. So then when they it became a thing where we started benefiting at that time from it more than the people that they actually set for it out to help.
Mm-hmm.
And so then they started the law of a no man in the household. And see, although it was meant to be no man in the household as far as the father being in the household, because in their mind, if he is a man and he's over the age of this, he can go out and get a job and support his family.
Mm-hmm.
So when they came to some of these households to do these random checks to make sure a man wasn't in the household, if they determined that that lady's 18-year-old son was a man in the household who was capable of going to get a job, boom, there go the assistants.
Right.
So they snatched all of the assistants away.
Right.
So this is where I find the issue in the division of the black household, because during this time you also had the feminist movement going on, and you had women fighting for their rights, and it wasn't even a thing of independence, because I think any woman can always hold her own self, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you have it to where we're fighting for certain rights, and so now you have this welfare act, and then you have women fighting for their rights, and then you get this stigma of, I think it was the poster that came out, like
Oh,
she
but
yeah,
yeah,
with the lady who do
yeah.
the like the arm with the bandana on, and
Mm-hmm.
the collar, the blue shirt, is women out here doing it, or women working
Mm-hmm.
hard, whatever that was. So I think that it started to set the tone. And then even though the feminist movement started as us trying to gain our rights, it started to set this tone of this independent woman who didn't need a man, and that became far, it starts to push the truth farther and farther and
Mm-hmm.
farther away. So now you have mind changing and everything just changing about it.
Yeah.
So it it just made me think, like, how far did the government really go to just destroy our families, that even in 2022, and again, even though it might have been a skit, it is something that was traumatic for me to watch even
Right.
as a skit, because I literally had family and friends who I've had to sit and watch them have this argument,
Mm-hmm.
whether it was a male arguing with the child's mother, or the child mother is arguing with the
Right.
child's father, about just simply feeding a child. Now, I'm not a mom,
Right.
but I've been put in positions to where I've had to do mother duties, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I used to ask for groceries, because I mean, now if you bring us something to eat
Right.
too,
Right.
that's great. But
Right.
I'm gonna need some groceries
Right.
around here.
Right.
So you a mother
I am.
and you a wife.
I am.
So congratulations, sir. I do
Thank
want to say
you.
that because she did. They just got married too, so they still in the newlywed phase.
Newlywed. Right.
So for you as a mother and a wife, or because before you was a wife, you was a mother too first, right?
Yes, I was.
So what's your take on it?
So, as a black woman, I will say I didn't know that this was a skit, so I'm just going by from what I feel. For one, I feel like she shouldn't have exposed them, or expose him like that. If you have an issue with the father of your kid, or if you feel like he's not doing something right, or how you think he should be doing it, maybe you need to have that communication. Y'all need to communicate. But as to be putting millions of people in your business or any of that, I feel like that's not right at all. And then I don't know, cause like he came and brought his son something to eat, which
Hmm.
is his biological son. So he looked after his son. So if you have multiple kids or multiple baby daddies, baby fathers, what are they doing? Like, why is you putting all the pressure on this one man? Are you putting the pressure on all the baby fathers to every time they bring their specific child something to eat? Are you telling them to bring the rest of them too, as well as you putting the pressure on him too? Um, Me as a mother, like with my kid siblings, if I'm dropping one of them off and I go happen to stop to get something to eat, I call and say, "Hey, is your other kids at home? If they're not there, then I won't get them nothing to eat. But if they are there, I'll get them something to eat." But that's just how I am. So it's kind of a touchy subject.
I don't know, because like as an auntie, one time for me, like my nephews had a chance to come to Vegas.
Mhm.
The twins, they had a
Mhm.
chance to come to Vegas with their grandparents on their dad's side,
Right.
and when they brought them, um, they brought their other two siblings with them. Now,
Mhm.
what kind of irritated me with this is because I asked them if they could bring my other nephew, which they are well
Mhm.
aware of. They know him
Mhm.
or whatever, but they wouldn't bring him, even though I had offered them money to like pay along the
Right.
way
Right.
for Javon. Because now here's my rationality with this, because y'all got Jordan and Jayden, right?
Mhm.
So y'all gonna do what Jordan and Jayden
Mhm.
need, but I'm asking y'all to bring an extra kid. So I would have covered the bank or
Right.
whatever for Javon to give him that experience, but they chose not to want
Right.
to give him that experience. I'm not upset at that because whole responsibility for what is there. So they felt like Jordan and Jayden and then their two other siblings
Mhm.
were just what they wanted to be
Right.
responsible going on a cross
Right.
country road trip. But when Jordan and Jayden got here, it was the day that I went and I got Jordan and Jayden and I
Mhm.
took them to do something by themselves.
Mhm.
Yes. But then the next time that I went, I took all of the kids
Right.
to the movies to see, I think it was like Spider-Man or something at the time. But when I got to the movies, I didn't say, oh, only Jordan and Jayden can get whatever they wanted from the concession stand. I
Right.
let all of the kids get something
Right.
for the concession stand. And the truth is, I can't stand the twins' daddy. But I'm not about to mistreat them kids
The kids.
because
Right.
of what my feelings or
Sorry.
disregard is for their
Absolutely.
father. Because
Absolutely.
they're kids, they're innocent, they ain't asked to be here, so I have to
Absolutely.
treat them accordingly. But also, people know your kids come around me as a certain way that they're gonna
Mhm.
be regarded to and cared for
Right.
anyway. Um, so it was just this video just it struck a chord with me because too many times have I seen on the internet us as people fighting over our kids, and it we never take into account that our kids have to go back and see this. See, now I feel like you, he he ain't owe them other kids nothing.
No.
I mean, no matter where he fell in position to their life or what they have become accustomed to, we don't know the backstory. I don't know
Or
because
the situations, because say for instance, maybe they was a one night stand. So you got pregnant, but you chose to keep the kid, right? So it's a one night stand. So you still expect this man that you don't know to care for all your kids. So now that'd be the reason why he did what he did, right? But on the other hand, if he y'all was in a whole relationship, he had a relationship with your kids, he treated your kids like they were his, but then all of a sudden something didn't work. Y'all didn't work out and y'all separated. And some men do still treat the kids like they're theirs, but some men be like, I ain't messing with you,
yep,
so I ain't dealing with your kids
yep.
either. But
I think for me is, and again, I get that it was, from now they're saying that it was a skit, right? But
mhm,
even
yeah,
her response for it to just be a skit, I'm not bagging down because every now and then he still come over here and sleep with me. So is this the one time that he came over and slept with you? And possibly brought the kids something to eat the
eat
night
for
before.
right,
And then whatever happened between y'all in the time period of him bringing that child something to eat the next day,
mhm,
what eat and again, even with it just being a hypothetical situation,
right,
why do you go out of your way to want to
those
expose
right,
the toxicity of
mhm,
your situation?
right,
Like, because to me it wasn't a joke,
right.
because it's a real thing.
It's a
like
real thing.
like
It
I
really
it
happens.
really happens.
Yes.
And it was to the point where people were, we always have these big things in our community where we
Mhm.
we start losing people. Sometimes it's around election time. Oh
Right.
my goodness, if you're Republican and you think this way,
Mhm.
like everybody always thinks somebody who are Republican, oh, they automatically a
Right.
racist.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's not necessarily true. You can't belittle people for their
Their
views.
views.
And so, for example, yesterday one of my homegirls, her cousin got on her status and made some remarks along the line of, any female that think like she think, you a bum and you this and you that and you know all of these things. But in my mind, then she tried to tell the girl, like, well, I wasn't talking about you, but the way you wrote it, it's the
Yeah.
things that the way you put it out there, that any woman that thought like this, like that woman's thought pattern, you was a bum, bitter, toxic,
Mm.
all of these negative things that surround just trying to be a woman and have kids with somebody when the father isn't in the picture.
Right.
But I don't think no woman, for me personally, I don't think those words describe any woman who held the opinion of that,
Right.
her, if that was a, like, just for the fact that we know it can be a real situation.
Mhm.
I don't think any woman that held that woman's opinion
Right.
was wrong. Or I don't
Right.
think that that made them toxic, or I don't think that it made them a bum, or any of those things that people was putting out there about women that just held that woman's
Right.
point of view. Because It wasn't wrong.
Right.
Now what she did might not have been
Been right.
right,
Right.
but that don't mean that she was necessarily toxic or anything. You
Right.
know, it just
Absolutely.
means she had hit a breaking point with this
Mm-hmm.
man when it came to
Her
her
kids.
kids.
Absolutely. And that's what we do as mothers when we feel like our kids have been affected. We do sometimes lash out, and I have done it, but it doesn't make it right. But she probably feel like okay, well, one of my kids got something to eat, but my other ones don't. So that probably struck a nerve for her.
Right.
Like the other ones are hungry, and she probably has no control over getting them something to eat at the moment, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So.
But she made a valid point. You got you got my kids accustomed to receiving something, and now that we're no longer together, you're gonna snatch it away, and then bringing food over here for the other kids. And just sometimes, because I was a kid before, and I know that I could be very cruel as a
Mhm.
kid. I could be like, for me, my biggest thing used to be, we was the first kids to have a computer.
Right.
Not a lot of kids can say that in my neighborhood. So
Right.
now that I think about even myself growing up, well, we got a computer at home, and then
Mhm.
other kids are like, well, we don't got no computer, or
Right.
or we got the latest game system. What y'all got? You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Not knowing that the neighborhood that we lived in
Mhm.
it wasn't an impoverished neighborhood, but everybody. It was like a middle working class family
Right.
neighborhood.
Right.
But with that being said, I still had friends who parents got up every day and left them to be the adult of the house.
Mhm.
And so I never, now sitting here in this moment, I never realized that sometimes when I was bragging about all of the things that I had, it could have been instilling jealousy in the next person because of all of the things that they
Mhm.
didn't have. So
Mhm.
when you look at it on a sibling level and you have kids, here with this man, or you have kids here with that man, or you have multiple kids here with this man, and then you don't, and then the maturity of the parents don't work out to where it's a a, a, a positive co-parenting experience,
Mhm.
then I can see where she's coming from too on that aspect of it, how it
Right.
could start to affect the kids.
Right. Right.
Um, how it could start to create jealousy because in that those other kids' mind, why
Mhm.
my daddy not bringing me McDonald's,
Mhm.
or how come he came in here and pretended to
I
love
was
us, and
once
then
that
as soon
kid.
as everything goes sour
Mhm.
between y'all, then all of a sudden he don't love or like us no
Right.
more, and it's just as simple as something as a meal, you know.
Mhm.
And so that's why I couldn't understand why people mind automatically went to the negative aspect of her being bitter or toxic or an idiot, or just a bum. Like, I didn't understand it. But from my point of view, I just still don't understand. Like, why was that the first mind as women? Some of us as women
Mhm.
jump to that any woman who thought like her just automatically made them a bitter bum baby mama.
Right.
Or just toxic for
Right.
that matter, because she just simply wanted something for her
For
kids.
her kids. When they was together, it wasn't a problem.
But they're not together no
No.
more. So
So
his sole responsibility
it's his child.
is his child.
Mhm.
And then
Absolutely.
that's when you go have I feel like that's when you go have a
Have a
conversation
conversation.
with your kids. But then another thing that struck a chord with me, well, he's still coming over and getting the cookies. Well, now that's your fault.
That's your fault.
Because how dare you come let a man lay up in your house and don't.
He can't feed all the kids. Cause he can't feed them all. You could.
Because now in my mind, it becomes a question. So was you upset that he brought his kids something to eat? Or were you upset that he didn't bring you nothing to eat?
Right.
Because I don't know if it was like just, it's different ways that I guess I could look at it, you know?
Mhm.
But in the sense of a way, I feel like, why would you knock him for being a father?
Right.
Is why would you? And then it was the, well, can my son come down and at least eat the food? Nah. What you mean?
Right. Let him go eat the food in the car,
Let him go eat the food in the car.
or drive to the park or something.
Anything.
Right.
Anything. And so it just, I don't know, it's weird. It's just the weird and the way that things go. And it just makes me think back, does this all go back to the start of slavery with the breaking of the black family? And how come we have carried this mentality now for almost 400 years that this is just normal for us not to be families?
Yeah. It reached back forever.
I don't
That
know. I don't know. It makes me wonder, like,
and the government still don't want a man in your house. If you go apply for food stamps to this today, they still ask you is the man in the house. And if the man is in the house, they ask for their income and they would not want to help you. And if the man is not in the house, and you want to receive TANF, you automatically have to put that man on child support, whether he's involved in that kid's life or not. If you want the money, you have to put the father on child support.
But I don't understand. We're in a relationship. This
Right.
man is really we going 50-50, or we going
Mhm.
60-40.
Right.
We building this thing.
Mhm.
So we may not be husband and wife,
Right.
but we have a relationship. So do you think that child support and food stamps have maybe destroyed some relationships to where it make the couples separate? Because one thing I always hear a lot of men say is, you done went and put the government in my business. And so then the relationship between the man and the woman starts to deteriorate
Mhm.
because of her just simply needing some additional help
Help.
with their kids.
Yeah.
But what another thing I don't understand when it comes to like certain welfare programs, for example, um, WIC. WIC was actually started by the Black Panthers along with the free lunch program.
Mhm.
And so it's programs that we actually started to help our people that y'all went and made government regulated. So
Yep.
I guess I don't know, how do you have you ever been in a situation where you felt like the child support or just the extra need to want to have the extra cushion, I would say, to want to feed your kids, maybe put a different dynamic on your relationship with any of your kids' father?
No, because I didn't do it. So I didn't do it for that reason, So why,
So
like
they had to understand that
they,
like you didn't go with the intention of saying, I'm doing this to hurt you. Because
yeah.
sometimes I don't think women go get food stamps to
And the thing is, they don't go after the father for the food stamps. They only go after the father for the TANF, for the money portion of it.
what, now I don't know what Tanner, because I don't,
TANF is cash assistance.
cash assistance.
So they only go after the father for the cash assistance. So the government want their money back.
But they only give like $200 a month or something. I don't
For
know.
one kid, probably three something for
Just for the
one,
month.
just for the month.
Just for the month.
1 month. Yes. And they want their money back, so they go after the father.
Hmm.
Mhm. Yes, ma'am.
That's interesting to me. I mean, I don't know. That's real interesting to me. So
And then when you go down there and be like, "Oh, well, never mind. I won't get it. I'll just figure it out." Then there you go, having women or but you put in other situations because they like, well, they dad, the father do help me, so why would I do that? So now I got to figure something else out.
hmm.
So say for instance, you have multiple kids, multiple fathers. You have one father around taking care of one kid, but you want to get assistance for the other two children, and you ask like, can I get the assistance for these two because the father's not around and not helping? I need the assistance. No, they said it's a household thing.
So so it
You
hold up
can't
the whole
you can't separate it.
it hold up the whole case eventually.
Yeah,
So it hold up the whole
if
case.
you don't want to put one father, if you got multiple fathers and you have baby fathers and one of them is around and they're helping, and you want to just do the other two because you don't have no help from them whatsoever, you can't separate it at all.
So now you got to make up. See, because I know some women who went to go get assistance, and when they asked who the father was, they was like, just I don't know. They just was like, I went to a party one night and it went left, and so I don't know who the daddy is.
Yeah, but they'll find it. They'll figure it out. They will. They investigate stuff like that.
Mm.
So yeah.
That's crazy that that holds up the case though. So it pushes up.
So either you say I won't. Well, I won't take the cash. Then I'll just take the food stamps because why would I put one father that's in the kid's life, on child support for assistance when it's crazy. It's just crazy. Yep. So you can't separate. It has to be as a household.
And it's just for the TANF. It don't
Yeah.
so it don't have nothing to do with like the Medicaid part of it either then.
Mm-mm. It's just the cash. Just the cash.
So, what do you think would be some solutions for us as women to? Because I don't know, how would you have handled the situation?
I would have been like, boy, go outside and get that food from your daddy. Bye.
Because I don't know,
Go.
I make a joke about it, but I probably would have just been like, oh, I'll make sure he get it, and then I would have ate the food, and none of the kids would have knew it was no food, and then I would have called the next man or whoever and been like, me and my kids need some groceries because I don't get my stamps to the 7th or the 11th. I don't know, and it's funny because it made me go get a high C orange yesterday. I'm like, oh, that high C orange looked good in that video.
Oh my god.
Let me go on and give my single self some McDonald's.
Right. Or it could have been like easier text message or a call like, did you get any of the other kids? And you'd be like, no. I'd be like, okay, well, let me know you outside or I'll send them outside. Take them somewhere so you can eat or something. And I would have figured it out for my other kids. Like, I don't know. I don't think it was that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it was that serious either. But we are going to I'm gonna try to see if I can bring one of our viewers on camera here. Let's see here. I don't know if they still there. Let's see. Are you still there? Okay. Oh, why did it end it? No, don't end it. Make sure the volume is up. I don't know how to work this tablet, y'all, so I don't even know where the thing is. Oh, it's on this side. All right. You are on here. Are you on here? Can you hear me? Tierra, are you on here? No.
Let's see. Like, I feel like we should like normalize not tearing each other down as a man and a woman after we break up with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, we have kids to raise. You know what I'm saying? Whether I came into the relationship with kids, you came into a relationship with kids, we had kids together. And then once things go left and it doesn't work out, why can't we just still be that village for our children and co-parent without any drama or, you know what I'm saying, any animosity towards each other?
But I agree. But I think that, like for me, I didn't watch my parents have the best breakups. Like normally things ended in a fight for me personally. So in my mind, I have already mentally conditioned myself that when I go to break up with somebody, I'm gonna have to fight with
You
them.
got
Like I'm gonna have to fight with you because it's not too many times just for me like that I've seen things in personal like peaceful. Like I've had some relationships that ended real peaceful,
hmm
but I've had some relationships that ended real toxic, and
Absolutely.
it went to the domestic violence stage of it, and I don't know if it's because they grew up watching their parents doing it, but I know I grew up watching my parents do it, and it was always just odd to me because I never wanted that for myself. Like I never
Right.
wanted to be in a domestic violence relationship, and I didn't like that. Like but I didn't feel safe in those relationships either. And I
Right.
think it's when I realized that I didn't feel safe or want to be in those relationships no more, and really made up my mind that I was leaving. I think that's when it became the realization of it, like
Right.
that it was over. I remember I remember dating a guy who had who had kids, and I made a little bit more money than him, and I remember selling. He was like 5,000 down in child
hmm
support. And I'm one of those women. You got to get you. I'm not one of those women who's gonna be on your bull swanky when it come to your kids. Like you
Right.
got to get your kids. You got to
Right.
be a father in your kids' life. And so, um, I remember telling him like, I'll go ahead and take the bulk of the bills,
hmm
and you go ahead and do what you need to do in regards to your child support issue.
Right.
And so I remember it came up because I'm also one of those women. Oh, you gonna go to the doctor? We gonna make sure our health and wealth and
Uh-huh.
everything is in check. And so I wanted him to be in a place in a good space with his children's
Mhm.
mother, because everybody in the situation deserved to just be in that space
Absolutely.
of just being able to co-parent and everything. And so I remember I sent him to the eye doctor to go get him some glasses. Now, mind you, again, I was the primary breadwinner. I
Mhm.
never did anything to make him feel inferior to me being the primary
Mhm.
breadwinner. If he needed or he wanted something, then I made it to make him feel special, just as
Right.
if it was ours. Although this was not my husband, I was being very, very, very submissive to this man
Mhm.
in regards to him, trying to let him know he was still the man, he was still the head of the household. You know what? Pretty much, because what I thought I was doing was being a wife in training.
Right.
And so I remember he went to go get him some glasses, and he called me and was showing him in these Armani Exchange frames. And I'm like, well, how much do those frames cost? They cost about like $300 and something. I said, oh, okay. You can't afford that. So I tell him, you can't afford $300 worth of
Right.
frames if you supposed to be taking your paychecks and trying to get yourself out the rears of
Mhm.
your child support.
Right.
I said, I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm a name brand girl through and through.
Mhm.
But even the glasses I got on my face was free.
Right.
Meaning I got them out of I mean, if you ever had to go to the doctor and your mother has been on
Yeah.
assistance, because my mother was on assistance, they had what they called the Medicaid box,
Yeah.
where
Well,
you
you pay.
got
Mhm.
the free pair of frames. They wasn't always the cutest frames, but
Right.
you had to make do what was in the box. So you found the frames that looked cute on you. So
Mhm.
I went into Medicaid, and this is me with, at the time, the company that I was working for. This was them covering my frames at 100%. Meaning,
Right.
when I walked into Lens Cracker, I don't even know if Lens Cracker
If
is
they
still a
still
thing,
around. Yeah.
but this is me walking into Lens Cracker with being a girl from Detroit, getting me a pair of Cardis on the company
Right.
for free.
Right.
Meaning and even if I did have a copay, the copay was only what, like maybe what, 150. So that had to go show you how frugal I was back
Mhm.
then. That I'm not even about to pay 150 on a basically a dang near free pair
Right.
of frames.
Right.
So I'm getting something out the free box. So you need to get something out the free box too, because technically you can't afford to get these glasses because you $5,000 in the rearage
Right.
on your child support.
Right.
So anyway, he come home with the glasses, and so I said, okay, well, supposed to be going to make a payment towards your
Mhm.
towards your child support. And he looked me dead in my face and was like, well, you gonna give me the 325? Oh, no, 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 no. Because we don't pay child support around here. Because see, I do everything necessary to make sure I don't have kids.
Mhm.
Um, no, I'm not giving you three nothing to go towards no child support, because that's why I told you to get a free pair of glasses out the box.
Right.
Now, had he been a little bit more patient with me and gave me a little bit more time, I would have went and got the frames for him,
Right.
right? I would have rather buy but it was the mindset that he had, that I was about to give him $325 to help him pay his child support. No, you would have been better off telling me to come up there and get the frames versus you thinking that I was about to give you my money to pay your child support. Now,
Right.
no shade to his kids,
Right.
but you $5,000 in the rearage. That
Mhm.
means you was there before you got here.
Yeah.
And the concept of the fact that you thought that I was gonna pay your child support for you just blew my mind with him. Like it led to us arguing, and it led to us getting into a physical altercation. I remember he punched a hole in my wall. So now you didn't damage my property, because again, you and your kids are in my home,
Mhm.
all because I wouldn't pay your child support for you.
Mm.
That was crazy to me. And it's the fact that you would want to jump on me about not paying something that was your responsibility. My thing is, I've already opened my home to you and your kids to
Right.
come. I'm already doing extra things for the kids, and this is me as a person who don't have kids.
Mhm.
Then he get mad at me because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get on some birth control. But he wanted, why you want to why you want to continue this cycle of poverty for us? Well, not for me, but just for yourself,
Right.
because not saying I was, but go get on like food stamps or anything, because I make enough money, and I
Right.
made enough money then to support me and a child.
Right.
But what I didn't understand was, so you gonna have a baby with me and think you gonna be scot free? Because when you have a kid, like, kids require certain things So why would you want to continue this cycle of one? You knew you. I could tell then you wasn't gonna stick around.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that he wasn't sticking around for those other kids, but I remember a conversation came up one day about his oldest son coming to our house, and he was like, "Oh, the mother wants to meet you," and I'm all, "Okay, well, let's meet."
Mm.
And he all, "Well, she this and she that," and I'm all, "Well, I know what type of woman I am." So even if she was to walk in being filled with whatever she was gonna be filled with, I guess in my mind, she a mother at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day. She want to see where her kids gonna
And
be
who
and who her
around?
kids gonna be around.
Absolutely.
She want to feel me out. She want to know if this is
Mm-hmm.
a real safe. But that's how my intentions of going into it. But to him, she just want to know where you live at so she could come over here and argue a fight with me. And then in my mind, but why? What are you doing to make her
You
want to
want to
do
do
all of
that,
this?
right? What are you telling her?
And then in my mind, so that was one of the things I told him. Is it the $5,000 in rearage of child support that may have her a little angry because you out here living and then moved on with your life, and she's somewhere over here suffering with your kid? But I don't know what you done told her about me, but I don't know if you what you told her, but I ain't paying your child support.
Right.
So if it takes for us to be together for you to have to take your whole check and make sure your kids have, I'm okay with carrying the household that way,
Right.
right? But go make sure your kids
It's
is
okay.
good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And but it ended bad.
That's crazy because when I didn't have kids, I wouldn't date a man with kids.
I don't date men with kids now.
Yeah.
Like even now, like I have some fun with you, but I ain't. I
Mm-mm.
can't get with you for real.
Yeah.
I have a lot of fun with you though,
Right.
but but just that one situation like tarnished it for me.
Yeah.
Cause where I thought that I was capable of being a good parent, just even if it wasn't to my
My
own
kid.
child,
Right.
he made it very clear that and I guess let me take that back because I'm gonna say it's not that I can't date a man that probably has kids. It's just if your situation ain't right with your kids from the get-go,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that that's gonna work for me, because I would be a fool to get in a relationship with you knowing that you already have this tarnished relationship, not only with your kids but with their mother, and then I
Mm-hmm.
have to start to think about how are you gonna treat me down the line.
Right. If
Like,
we don't work out and we have a kid together, right.
what is it gonna be for you and me? Because I'm not an arguer. Like on my last episode, I talked about the fight or flight. And I'm at a place now. I just take a flight on you.
Mm-hmm.
And see, I ain't got to go put you on child support or nothing like that. Because your kid gonna forever live a good life,
Right.
whether with or without you.
Right.
And I made a comment yesterday. Like if I got married today and got pregnant tomorrow, mentally, I've already prepared myself that this is my child versus the reality of he's there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he is my husband. Maybe we are trying to be a family and we are trying to make it work. But mentally, I've already prepared myself that this is my child. I made the conscious decision to have this child. I made the conscious decision to raise this child. I know what goals and values and different things that I want to instill in my child. So in my man, father or not father, this my child.
Right.
This my baby.
Absolutely. A lot of us think like that.
But it's already the fact that I've mentally conditioned myself
Yeah.
to what my reality could be. Because I don't know the future. I don't know what this life holds for me. But it's amazing that I can already tell God what I got planned. Like, God, you give me a baby. This is my baby. This is my child. This is mine. You
Right.
gave it to me, and I'm gonna give it back to you. But father or no father, this is my baby.
Yeah.
This is my baby. Let's see if our guest has got back on here. Okay. Nope, she's still not on there, but that's all right. So, I don't know, Miko. It was a weird situation for me to see not only that, but just like the effects of friends and family really falling out. Especially now that I know that it's possible that this could have just been a skit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But people showed their true colors yesterday about how, one, we feel as against women in general as women
Right.
of color.
Right.
It makes me think like, what was the world sit back and thinking like, look at them, they doing it again. And I guess it was just like we did all this arguing, we did all this fighting, and then we still didn't come up with a solution to how can we take the toxicity out of it. Because even though the government may play a big part in how you get TANF or you get your food stamps, or how they made it hard just for us to have to survive in this thing of what they call the American dream, you know, how do we stop it?
That's a good question. How do we stop it?
Like it's just it's something that just make you go, hmm. Because now you have more black people being successful in different ways. I don't know. I wonder how many black families are on aid versus all of the other families that are on aid. And why does they always just make it seem like it's us who have to be on aid, you know? Like why have they perpetuated this image of black people as just being lazy and
Right.
just to begin with, I guess.
Right.
And then why do we further go on and perpetuate it in ways of getting on camera and saying, I'm about to expose him for only bringing his son something to eat, and he know I got three other kids. Like, what did you expose though?
Right.
Did you expose yourself as being a, that type of mother? What did you expose?
Right.
What did you gain from this? What do we gain from it sometimes? Because I ain't gonna lie, I've had my moments where I done jumped on the internet and put people on blast too. But see, I had a real reason to expose you for a different reason. Because I don't know, I have this thing where I'm always get the last laugh.
Mhm.
But I don't know if I've always done it in the most healthiest way.
Right.
And that was another issue me and that ex had too. Because he used to like to get on Facebook and put business out there, but then you didn't like what I wrote back on the status because, like, one status he wrote on there something, after I go drop my kids off, I'm about to move out her house. You don't even gotta go drop your kids off. You can come back and get your stuff right now. Actually, I'll do one better for you. By the time you get back from dropping your kids off, your stuff will be sitting outside and my locks will be changed because, as you said, it is my house.
Right.
You here with me. And now that I sit here and I think about it, like it was so stupid to even think that me and him was gonna make it anywhere anyway.
Mm.
The reality, the situations we put ourselves in, and
Yeah.
then, I don't know. I don't know. Tell me what you think.
Let me see. Trying to think. Just lost my train of thought.
Well, I guess that's it, and that's all on that. So, what you think about the first? Come on, cause you watched the episodes. So give me some feedback. What you think so
About the
far about just the podcast?
Oh, I love it. I'm gonna be on here more, y'all. Mhm.
So, what did you think about the generational trauma podcast?
Oh yeah, that's 100% true though. Yes, that because I'm thinking about, so say for instance, like I'm thinking about like the way I was raised, seeing that I had a single mom, and we thinking that's normal to be a single mother and you're supposed to be masculine and independent and I don't need a man. I can do it all by myself, that kind of mentality. But in reality, we do need a man. God made us to have a husband, a man around. Like we ain't supposed to be doing everything by ourselves. I don't want to do everything. I'm spoiled. I don't want to do nothing by myself no more. I got my husband and
But
I
you know what? I have a friend who
shoot.
she one day me and her, and I'm gonna just say this. She she was telling me how she had moved to somewhere to go live her life. Like she was single, she was young, she moved to a new city. She was going to hang out. She was going to hang out. And along the way she met her husband. And she said the same thing you said. Like, that was the best thing she could have did was to get her husband. And she was like saying her time versus what God or the universe time was for
Hmm.
her. But she liked being a wife, and she said she can't see it being no other way for
Right.
her.
Right. I would go crazy if I had to go back to being a single woman. I would be I'd be like, I can't deal with these kids. Somebody come get these kids, please, because I'm thinking back like, how the heck? did I do it? Like, how did I do it? Going to work, raising kids on my own, doing everything by myself. Nope. I ain't going back to that. I don't want to go back to that.
But it was just like even like, but it made me think like, could I? Could I? I don't know. I think I could give it up to just be a wife and a mother. I
Yeah.
think that I
It's
could. I
amazing.
think
It's
that
an
I could
amazing
do it
feeling.
effortlessly. Like I think I could do it with just ease.
Yeah, you can. Absolutely.
But I don't.
That's what God intended us to do it with ease. To be a wife and a mother
But to do it with ease.
with ease.
So it don't come with all. It don't take all of this extra.
It don't. It's just naturally gonna come. Yes.
So what was the most natural part of it, of you becoming a wife? Because you just did this in April, right?
Yes, I did.
So what was the easiest part for you? Like giving up your just that different part of what you was used to, your everyday norm. What was the easiest part of that?
Handing over responsibilities. Yes, that was the easiest part. Like, okay, I ain't gotta do everything by myself. Oh,
Did he make you feel safe and secure? Like what was it about him that made you easy to hand it to him?
yeah, he did make me feel safe. He's a protector, so I'm like, and just trusting him, just having that trust to know that you can depend on your husband to lead you and guide you. So girl, I be sleeping like a baby. You hear me? We
Sleeping
don't
like a
have
baby.
we don't have gender roles in our
So
household.
you don't have gender roles in your
Absolutely
household.
not. No, we do. We both do it. He wash dishes, I wash dishes. He wash clothes, I wash clothes. We do not have gender roles. Absolutely not. No, ma'am. And I can't be no stay at home. No wife. I gotta I still gotta have some kind of my identity still. So
Okay, well, this is what we gonna do, Tierra. Because we gonna get you on here one way or
it's
another.
still not working.
It's not, but that's all right. Let's see if it'll let me do it this way. Because it's not seeing you on here. See, it don't say, it say your viewers. It say I don't have no viewers, which that's fine. But because it was done too. Okay, so you it doesn't say it. You gonna have to turn whatever you watching it on down in the back though, so it don't pick up the echo.
Hey.
Oh, you know, Miko, you got.
Right.
What I say the last time I was at your house getting my hair done? I'm on Miko. Did you have the class?
I did.
See, we got it. We supposed to get you a flight out here, so we go. But we were serious about it. Tierra Miko was doing my hair, and Tierra said, "Girl, what you doing with that comb?" Oh, okay. It just came through. Okay, we gone. Let's see if it let us add you. It say adding. I think Jimmy just want to be on here too. Cause then look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. All right, y'all can both be on here actually if y'all want to be. So I'll end you on here so you can jump on there. Hi. All right, Sierra, come on, cause you know we didn't debate it for. Yeah, we see you. The camera can't see you, but we see you. I think they can hear you though. Go ahead and say something.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, hmm so what about it? What was your take on it, Miko? What was your take on the McDonald's?
Oh, okay. My take was, well, he brought McDonald's for his son, so he fed his son. But I can understand how she feel as a mother, but being that her other kids was being hungry and that one child was going to eat in front of the other kids may have struck a nerve for her. But the way she have done it maybe have been wrong, but she could have easily done it a different way, you know?
It was, yeah.
Because, you know, for me, it was when she said, oh, I'm about to expose him. Go ahead, Tier.
I definitely think she was wrong. Like, she was wrong all the way around. Her whole, how she went about it was wrong. Let's say that. Not her feelings for why, but the way she went about it, I definitely believe was wrong. Now, I'm a mama with multiple kids, and I got some daddies. Okay? I got some daddies. So, to me, you like how I said that?
I got some daddies.
So to me, it would hit a nerve also because you're not gonna feed one and not feed the other. You're not gonna make them feel strange like that. But I am big on, and I got sons, so I'm big on. You could take your baby and you could, y'all could go. And then you can take your baby, you take them out to eat, but don't bring no food in their face like that's okay. I feel like he was wrong from that aspect. I get it, everybody is saying, well, he take care of him and he feed him. And me and my dude were just talking about this, and like I said, I mean, he brought him a meal. Okay, he's doing something. But it takes more than one meal every day to take care of your kids. That's number one. Number two, I couldn't see myself with my son. If his girlfriend told him, I don't got no food in the house for them, I don't got no food. As a man, I'm against you. You gonna get your baby and you gonna take him somewhere because he don't need to be in the house and ain't no damn food in there.
Right.
She unfit and your ass is unfit for leaving him with somebody that's unfit.
Right.
Well, I go back to what I originally said. I don't think that he was wrong for only bringing his son something to eat. Um, at the end of the day, she knew that them other kids needed something to eat. I think it was just the fact of the kid every day getting to eat this, what I mean, which I don't call McDonald's like a luxury meal, but I think it was just the fact that the other kid was getting to eat these Happy Meals.
It is the key.
It is the kids because things like that can cause jealousy, and that's what I told Miko earlier. Like I feel like when you have it made me think about just growing up in the neighborhood because me and my sister we share the same mother and the same father, so it was not they didn't make a difference, but my family used to make a lot of a difference.
Right.
But it made me think about being a kid that was able to brag about what my mama could do versus what the kids in the neighborhood parent could do. And so people may have started to think that me and my sister, maybe we were stuck up or we thought we was better than them simply because our my mother provided us a lifestyle of which she wanted us to have.
Right.
And unfortunately, we grew up in the era where a lot of our friends' parents, hell, even one of my parents, was on crack cocaine.
Right.
Or you had mothers doing the best that they could to provide, but it became so much. So one thing Miko did to tell me here that I didn't know when it came to like having the father on child support is that you can't get cash assistance from TANF if you don't even report who the father. What did you? That's what you.
Yeah. If you if you don't report who the father
Yeah,
is, you
you
can't.
gotta report him.
Yeah, you got to report him in order to get the money.
So even though you could be in the household living good with the father, like y'all in this relationship where y'all just
Yeah.
decided that y'all don't want to be husband and wife, you still got to relinquish this
Yep.
information.
In
And
order to get assistance.
that's crazy to me
Yes.
because the father is here,
Mhm.
being a father,
Yeah.
but I got to give you his information. Like I'm not asking y'all to pay our rent. We just
Right.
asking for extra money to get us food.
Right.
Or the necessities like diapers
Or
and
whatever.
wipes
Yeah.
and those
But I
type of.
tell you, in Michigan, Alena, that's with food stamps and cash assistance. You can't get none of that without giving them their information. You got to give them some information. They want you to put them on child support. So a lot of people don't. I had a child support case on my oldest two, but my middle baby, I never did that for the simple fact his dad took care of him. So I never never did that because what am I going? You know what I'm saying? It's almost I'm taking away from him.
So in
If I did
Michigan,
something like that, I think that's how I looked at it back then. It would be taken away from him.
so in Michigan, did they make it to where?
In Michigan, yeah.
So with Miko, she was saying although she, like in certain situations, that this may not have been hers because I don't want to project anything, but she was saying like you've lived in Vegas all your life.
Mm-hmm.
She said here in Nevada, they make it to where you have to, if you put one on child support, you got to put them all on child support just to even have a case.
Mm-hmm. You do. They won't allow you to separate. So say for instance you have one, so you have two baby daddies, one not there, but you want to get cash assistance just for that one child. They won't allow you to separate. So either you're gonna take the child off your case that has the dad around, and then just get cash assistance for that one kid, but they won't allow you to separate it if it's on the same case.
Was that the same situation for you?
Well, I don't know if it's like that in Michigan, but that would absolutely make sense as to why I haven't. Remember back when I was trying to get some stuff and I could not because I never put middle baby dads on child support. I never did that. So that could be it. It could be like that here too.
Interesting. That's interesting. I mean, I'm gonna just say this: I still don't think that dad was wrong for bringing only his kid something to eat. I think that with maturity and time, you can handle different conversations in different ways.
And what's wrong with asking, like, do you mind bringing the other kids something to eat? Like, they're hungry. Like, some people, it's not their first mind to think of other people's children,
Yeah.
you know? You know, like, he probably just thinking about his kid. So, be like, do you mind if you can bring my other kids a cheeseburger or something? Like,
And it's so amazing to me that a lot of people was like, well, he should have brought a pizza. No, what he should have did was brought groceries. And I feel like if it was an issue of him bringing fast food, she should have been out there asking for groceries.
right, some hot dogs and some noodles go a long way.
Because as a 35-year-old woman right now, I don't mind asking a man,
Can you bring some?
you want to come see me?
I'll take a case of noodles. You hear me? I'll take a case of noodles and some hot dogs for my kids. I over a McDonald's meal for one.
But you know what's funny? I was just telling her this, telling Tiara this last night. I remember when I had my nephew or my nephews, and I remember telling one of my male friends that I was dating at the time, like, me and this baby over here, we need some food. Now, I did ask him to bring us a pizza, but initially he brought the pizza and some food.
Yeah.
But in his man, okay, I didn't brought the food, and let me say it this way. And I did. I was asked for some noodles and some hot dogs, but he brought a meal. Like he brought what we were used and accustomed to eating. But he also was there with us.
Right.
Like not like that, but he was there. So when I would cook, I think he got the thought that he was getting the benefit of a meal too. But I mean, I don't know. Do you think that younger mothers don't cook like our mamas used to cook?
Some of them, I'll say maybe some do, some still do.
Oh, I definitely think they don't. I definitely do.
Because do you think that could have been another issue of why she had the issue with the fast food? Like, you running over here every day with fast food, but it is
Right.
3 other kids in his house. So, do you think that? I don't know. I don't know now. I still don't think that he was wrong. I think that. I mean, I don't think that she was wrong. It was the approach. You went away, Tierra. We can't hear
Her
you.
approach was awful, but I really think from a
You breaking up. We
hold on,
can't
let me
hear
go
you.
back. I'm going back. I'm going back. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I really think her approach was awful. Her approach was awful. It was awful. And then she threw the food. And I'm gonna say because me and middle baby said he said she threw the food. She disrespectful. I said I know. He said she don't get no steps to the 11. She needs to give us some, and she do because I think it come with maturity. As you do think about kids, you know that there's multiple kids in the house, and you have nieces. You come here all the time. When you come, you gonna say, I'm gonna get something for everybody because I know one gonna say, "What about me?" You know what I'm saying? It's just simple things like that. You could have bought a pizza. You could have bought a pack of hot dogs and some hamburger buns, which was gonna be the same amount of money as whatever meal you just paid for from McDonald's. Because you know that there's multiple kids in the house. I get it. It's nothing wrong with you, trying to give your son exactly what he like. But you still have to think about how that's affecting those other
Other
kids
kids,
that's in the
right?
house. That's their mentality. How are they gonna be thinking at night when you know what I'm saying? You don't want kids to be like, oh, your daddy love you. Don't nobody love me. You get special treatment. You don't want that
And that's
because how is
exactly
that
what
gonna make
happens
them
too.
feel growing up? You don't want siblings to have resentment issues with each other. We see that so much. Siblings have issues, and it's deep rooted. So why not try to break that shit early? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So what do you think? Oh, look at my godson. Y'all hear my godson in the back screaming because he's a screaming baby. He screams, 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 scream, and that's because his mama screamed, screamed, screamed at all of us. um, so as your parenting style, with y'all being mothers, like, and again, I don't know yo, I just know you have a baby with your husband.
Mhm.
I don't know anything about the other kids, but I watch y'all both as mothers.
Mhm.
I get to watch you as a mother because, of course, of
Right.
how and where you do my hair,
Right.
and then of course I get to watch you as a mother because we literally have been doing this since we were 17 together, 17 together. And let me make no, if I'm wrong here, you can stop me. We have been being I've watched her be a mother since 17.
Right.
So, what do you think is when it comes to your kids and bringing just the moment that you, because y'all do deserve y'all lives, right? So, the moment that you find love outside of their fathers or the
Mhm.
father,
Mhm.
um, what was the conversation like with that significant other when it came to your kids? I don't know which one of y'all want to go first.
Oh,
I
I'll
don't.
go first. Mine jumped right in it. He didn't. Soon as he came around, we started dating. He welcomed my kids with open arms, like they was his from day one. So um that's why my love grew so much stronger for him, because how he reacted to my kids. You would think that my kids was biologically his, like he don't play about them. You know what I'm saying? And he been like that since day one, since we were dating 5 years ago.
So go ahead, Tierra, because then I'm gonna ask a follow up question to the both of y'all.
Um. So now I have three kids' dads. So my second kid dad, my kids were pretty young. I want to say probably about 7 and 5 when we met. Um, and it was just that I do have kids, and it's a package deal with me. And then we dated for years before we had a kid together. So that just became really a role that he took with them because they were so young. And then when we did split, because you remember we went through a breakup. We went through I guess a year or two of breakup before we actually broke up. You know what I'm saying? And that was my biggest thing. I don't want you to neglect them, and you are who they know as a father because their father is not around.
Well, that's who
So
they knew
that
as a
was like
daddy,
a
because I
big
think it's a
thing for
difference
us.
between a
And
daddy and a father.
Yeah.
he vowed like I'm right, and he vowed like at the end of the day I'm not going nowhere. Like that's it. I'm here for them, and that's that. And it has been that. And like I think I made a post about it. He did, especially when I had my little baby. He did kind of get a tad bit funny, and I had to hello, I'm gonna need you to bring it back together, and I'm gonna need you to get it together because you're not gonna abandon them. We not even together, right? But you are who they know as a father. You are who they know as a father. You have stepped in, and
Mhm.
you ain't gonna be off the hook. You gonna be on the hook, and whoever your girlfriend is, she best to know it's a package deal.
Absolutely.
And we just been kind of roll with that. Then with my new little baby's dad, he didn't have any kids, so it's a growing. I think it's still a daily thing with him to have to kind of get him on. Okay, listen. because they come before me, right? Because I'm that mama. I've been a mama since I was 7. I've been a mama since before I was a woman. They come before me. I can go without eating. They can't. I can go without clothes. They can't. I can go without maintenance shit. They can't. They won't. That's my first priority. So it takes time to kind of, and I guess it's a maturity thing because he is younger, right? So I think it's a maturity thing. But for the most part, anybody that and I only use them as an example because they're the only ones that really count. But for the most part, it's really letting people know, like, this is this. You have to set bounds and expectations. This is my life. This is how it's going to be. And if you can't roll with this, then you can't roll with me. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So when did you know that he was worthy of meeting your kids?
When I seen him interact with his own.
Oh, it took a while.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah,
When I seen him interact with his.
that was a good one.
What about for you, Tier?
That was a good one. Neither one of them had kids, so it just took time for me to trust. Huh?
Who you say I to?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear us?
Oh, all I heard was tear.
No, you answered the question.
Yeah.
So, what was it like building a blended family?
Ooh, tough. Now it's easy, but in the beginning, it's like you have to learn each individual child and their personalities because you can't, no matter what you do, you cannot treat none of them the same. They all have their own individually personalities. You can you can't treat them the same at all. No matter how much you try, you can't show favoritism either. But at the same time, I don't.
Well, each kid is their own individual person, and so they all have their own individual needs and wants.
Yeah, but they
Like,
all get the same treatment. But they
right. Because no kid should be made to feel less than the other.
absolutely.
So I feel like when you go shopping for one, you go shopping
I
for
go shopping
all.
for all. Absolutely. I go shopping for all 7 of mine. All 7. You hear me? Like I don't leave none of them out. And one of my babies live in California, so we go shopping. We ship it to her, or when she come out here,
Right
you hear
here.
me? You like we don't leave none of them out. And I
So,
think the reason why I'm like that because my grandma raised me and my cousins, and we were all a blended family, so that comes naturally for me. So having multiple kids, that I love that. You know what I'm saying? Like so it just came naturally. Like I never once treated no one different.
and you know what? For the aspect of me, I think that my mother set the tone for us because, again, I'm the baby of 8 kids, but she only has 2 kids.
Hmm.
And so I used to be like real annoyed when like my other siblings would be like, "Oh, that's just my half sister," because in my mind I never looked at them as being anything half
Half
to me
right.
because my mama always made sure we were a whole.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
so where I used to be, which it took for me to have a conversation with one of my sisters to understand where she was from, and I think that I had to learn to forgive myself for feeling like I was angry at them for not, I guess, in the syndrome of, I felt like we all had this common thing, which was our dad. And he wasn't there in the majority. He was there, but again, he had his own problems and his own issues. And so my mom to me made it to where we always got to see them or have some form of interaction with them, and I didn't realize the extent of to some of their anger when it came to my dad, that in retrospect for them, as a protection for them, as a boundary for them, they didn't want nothing to do that had anything to do with him. Even though, I feel like me and my sister, like we are very, we can tend to be very loving towards other people,
Hmm.
maybe so much not necessarily towards each other sometimes, but when it comes to our other siblings, like I can tell where me and her have the ones that, we love them all, right?
Right.
We love them all, but it's ones that she gravitate to, and then there's the ones that I gravitate to. But I feel like at some point in time we all gravitate to each other, and and I would love to see a better communication between
Mm-hmm.
me and my siblings, but we are all our own individual persons, and I
Absolutely.
think sometimes we don't take the fair chance because of sometimes of what we believe and what we hold standards to be, and we don't acknowledge each other in a
Mm-hmm.
sibling and loving way. Um, but I also think that that played a part in us not having the key component of what brought us here together, which was
Right.
our Father. And so watching this whole display, and again, even though it may have been displayed as a skit, it hit home for me a little bit because it showed to me the division that you can have amongst the family when the man, and I don't mean to push it back on the man, but when you don't have what they call to be the head of the household not playing its part in its position, and then it lead down to either the mama disrespecting the father when he could be a good man and he was trying to maybe be there, but what did you do to belittle him? Or the same token of what did you do to belittle her? Because sometimes that be a two-way street
It
where
do.
the man could be in the household and he may be telling you that although I did have this child with you, now you got to pick me and this child. And then it's almost like the flowers in the attics. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
seen that movie, The Flower in the
No, I
Attics?
never seen it.
Okay, so in this movie, The Flower in the Attic, the mama leave the kids and go off, but at the end of the movie, the brother end up like in the movie, the brother had to split his wrist and feed his siblings off his own blood, and the mama just went off and left them as if she didn't have kids, and then she goes to start this whole new life as if she didn't have kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is the breakdown of like what family could be is that you just you do have kids and you do have it to where you may have multiple kids with multiple people because you can afford to live that type of lifestyle. Or in this situation, to me, it sounds like she might not be able to afford to live the lifestyle because you on camera screaming about some food stamps.
Right.
Because I still just, that didn't sit right with me as a mother. Why did it matter what he brought the one kid? As a mother, you got to make sure your kids eat.
Regardless.
And
Regardless.
so my mama made sure all of us ate. My mama made sure that, like, I can't think of a time. Yeah, and I'm gonna say this to my sister's mothers as well because it's times that they made sure that we ate, not on the aspect of they had to, but I remember times where like we would go, like my mama had to work, and so we would be like my oldest sister. I remember her being like a primary babysitter of us. Like I remember going to her house and I remember her watching us like while my mom went to work. But I remember that even when my daddy would sometimes go to drop us off, my mama was the one bringing the food, but not just for me and my sister to eat because my oldest sister had kids there too
Mm-hmm.
that had to eat. Now imagine my mama telling my sister, oh well, you only watching my two kids, but my sister had like what, two kids, because I think Stephen and Pumpkin Pie were born at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Ashanti, but you always gonna be my pumpkin pie. But I remember my mama making sure that all of the kids ate, whether those were her biological grandchildren or not. She fed us, like she made it happen. So I guess the irritation for me is that I'm judging this woman in the eyes of my mama because my mama made sure everybody ate. It wasn't a question of whether my daddy did it or not. She made sure her two kids, Reese, Steven, and Pumpkin Pie, we ate. And then Dominique and William Daddy ate too, but sorry to tell secrets. I'm grown now. I don't care. But the fact is, everybody in the household ate. Whether
Right.
it was whatever could be provided, we ate.
Right.
No matter what my sister may have had at her house or whatever, we ate.
Mm-hmm.
And my mama made it to where we wasn't taking anything from my niece and my nephew because at the end of the regards they had a real mindset these kids had to eat whether a man was there or not. And I guess to me, I that's what kind of irritated me with her as a mother because why would you want to go out your way to expose him? As to say, I could see if you was exposing him to the point where it was like, okay, he brought the kids something to eat, and you on the video like, okay, well, you bring him food every day, but I need groceries. And then if he would have came back with the comment of, well, so what you need groceries? You got four, you got three or whatever other baby daddies. Where they at? What they doing? I'm gonna continue to bring my kid this food. Now I can see her being upset with that, but it was just the whole action of, and again, whether it was a skit or not, these are real things that happen on the daily in these broken homes or just where the family
So,
starts to become broken.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Tier.
Alena, let me touch on two things you just said, right? So number one, mom was dropping food off. She made sure it was food for everybody, not just her two kids, right? Because that's character. It doesn't matter if it's a woman or a man, it's character,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's one thing. If I'm a feed man, I'm gonna feed the rest of the kids that's in the house. It's character. That's one. But two, when you just said it, it's so crazy because everybody is always like, as a woman, you supposed to do this. As a woman, don't get me wrong, because you know me, I'ma do that shit, right? Because we train to do that. We train literally in our man to have everything on our motherfucking back. We got to do it all. We got to do it all. What's wrong with that man buying some motherfucking food for them kids?
It.
Everybody always think everything is on a woman. Guess what? And
I'm gonna
women
say it
take the
this way.
load too sometimes.
I'm gonna say it this way.
Sometimes you got to bite the bullet.
I'm not a man, so I can't speak from the man perspective, right? Do I definitely think that he should have brought the other kids food? I do. But however, how do we know that this is the one time she chose to record the situation of him only bringing his child something to eat versus all of the other times he fed the kids and her too? You get what I'm saying? Then it was the rebuttal video for me. You know, he coming over here smashing when he want to smash, but this the one time he chose, not to do something for the kids. And so now it becomes a question of, is it you mad at him because he came over last night and smashed and possibly brought the kids a pizza last night, but because of whatever transpired of him leaving in the morning to go wherever he was going back to, whether it was to another woman, to go to work, to just go to hang out with his homeboys, right? Now it becomes a matter of, was this just because you were mad at him and this is the day that you chose to record this video of him doing something for his kids? So again, yes, it's going to always fall back on the woman, because why would you want to put yourself in a limelight like that to make it to where people can get on this good internet and be like, oh, she bitter, oh, she toxic, oh, she one of them baby mamas, right? Because that was a lot of things that a lot of women became offended by, because in their mind they agreed with her, but they not a toxic, bitter, bum baby mama, because they a woman. They make sure that their kids have what they need, and when they need it. And although they may not be able to give them all of their wants, they definitely make sure they have everything that they need. And so the conversation goes back to, it was a lot of women on the internet yesterday being derogatory towards a woman, not only that look just like them, but or maybe in the same situation. And then a lot of personal feelings started to come off now that we're learning that may be a joke, right? So how do we as women change this scenario? So yeah, I'm gonna talk to the women because I don't know what it's like to be a man. Now I got a man in here, I could go get him and ask him, do he got an opinion on the man side of this? And would it is it gonna change what we feel as a women? As women, if I go get this man and ask him to come in here and talk about this subject, do you think what he say is gonna make us think differently of what happened on this skit or real life scenario? You
You know
breaking?
what? Nothing is gonna make us think different. Because we are trying to have everything on our back as a woman. As a woman, it's your job to do it. As a woman, like that's just that. As a woman, it's your job to do it. So nothing that nobody can say is gonna change that. Cause we train like that.
Because
We are like that.
because
We
what do
was
I tell you?
raised like that. We was raised as women to do that shit.
What do I tell you all the time? If I get married today and have a baby tomorrow, mentally, I have conditioned to myself that this is my baby. And
Mm-hmm.
I got to make sure this baby has everything that is needed. And that may not be my reality, because I could get blessed to have a man that's going to come through and pay it all. Where I can really sit down and do whatever I want to do, because he's okay with me flowing in my feminine energy, right? But the issue becomes, we as women now, we're masculine. We don't know how to do this and we don't know how to do that. So yesterday, that's the attack that I seen across across my personal social media. I can't speak for nobody else social media, but I saw even when let me tell you how I know people felt attacked, because even when I wrote something in the most humblest way of me writing my own opinion, I had a couple of people on their own status felt attacked by what I wrote because they thought that I was talking to their character, but I was talking to the situation, right? And I made it clear, I'm not talking about you. Like I had to tell you and my other friend, y'all some apples, y'all ain't no oranges. I ain't talking about the oranges of this situation, because y'all apples to me. Y'all as women, y'all do what y'all supposed to do as women, as mothers, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
ain't talking, but even as me and you talked about this situation, you started to become offended with me or upset with me or irritated with me because I sided with the man, because you are but I had to keep, but what did I keep telling you yesterday? Take me and you out this situation. It's a simple open debate between two cousins, two friends, because we've been blessed to have it like that, right? We've been blessed to be a family and have friendship, right? So I had to keep reminding you to take it out. So when I became frustrated with her, what I started calling you? What I started calling you? What I started calling you? This morning when she called me, I said, "Good morning, apple that want to be an orange."
But and then my thing is, as a woman, you got to hold yourself accountable. Why are you sleeping with this man if you know he can't provide food for all your kids? Because I'm not opening my legs up to no man that just gonna bring a cheeseburger and some and a small fry and a watered down orange juice for one. I'm not opening my legs. Like, no, you hear me? So
But then it becomes a thing of trying to be the
Well,
government
and
now, and
then
telling
it goes
women
back to
what women
the
can do with their bodies.
expectations.
Because then we can easily jump into the Roe versus Wade. Because now, are we telling this woman that it's okay to lay down with this man and you know he can't financially take care of you, and then boom, you get pregnant. So, but now you can't go get an abortion. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going into that part of that today.
right,
But now it goes back to, now are we women telling women what to do with their body?
right,
Don't sleep with him because he can't afford to feed you
right.
and your
No,
kids.
absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? But
But
girl,
these are the
it
debates. But
is.
these are the debates that took
Well,
place
I know I got
yesterday.
a daughter.
But what did your daughter say
And
about
it's
this
like, was the
situation?
dynamics like that when they were together?
But
You
she
know what I'm
said it
saying?
though. She said that he would bring kids. So what it sounded like to me is, as long as she was giving him access to her,
Her
then he was doing it all.
doing it all.
He was playing daddy, not
Mhm.
father. He was playing daddy to the whole. He was playing the man of the house when he had access to her.
Mhm.
And it's at the moment that he no longer had access to her, then it only became about his child.
Yeah.
So again, what is wrong? Why didn't the mentality switch the same way? So now you no longer have access to me. So now you know the role and the primary role of you on your three kids who daddy may be or may not be there falls back on you to not still be mama and daddy. So again, why were you wasting your, I guess it goes back to me, why did she waste the energy to go expose him and then it say if it was a real situation to come back with the rebuttal of, well, because he no longer has access to me, he don't want to be there for my kids, but you still giving this man access
That's
to
to
you.
you.
So if you going through this breakup with this man, break up with him.
Mhm.
Because that's it and that's all. Break up with him.
And when you gonna get your son? Cause we gonna do 1 week on, 1 week off. How about that? And leave it as that. Leave it. Shoot.
Y'all can't see Tierra, but she is over here twisting the,
Listen, I am listen with the quick.
you breaking up. We can,
Listen with the quickness. I will tell them go with your daddy. You
Absolutely.
can get your
Go
kid.
with your daddy. Like, shoot.
And
come on, Jimmy. Come on, Jimmy.
I'm an advocate for it. I don't have the energy. I think I back when I was 17, 18, but now at 34, no. Go on with your daddy, cause I ain't about to play the games with nobody, cause I know what I can do.
Right.
But it just goes to what we talked about earlier with the oldest two. Boundaries, right? You're not gonna do for you got two kids. You're not gonna do for one, and
Mhm.
you're not gonna do for the other. We're not gonna play them games. You have to have your boundaries and expectations for yourself as a woman. Because I promise you, if you can't buy 3 Happy Meals, 4 now, we ain't even got shit to talk about. I don't even like people talking to me at the grocery store. You about to buy my groceries? Because what you talking about? You wasting your time talking to me. I got too much shit going on in my life. Like,
Right. They got dollar menus and all.
So I guess for me, I just don't never want. I just think, yeah, I'm gonna always have a more conversation as I mean, and if there's any men who end up hearing this podcast or watching this Facebook Live and y'all want to jump on about this subject, like I'm more than happy. I would love to hear from the male perspective
Absolutely.
of who actually watched it and seen what happened. I wonder if let me see. I don't even know. It's midnight in Detroit. Ooh, I can't be calling some of these people because it's midnight in Detroit. But I just wonder what would be the male perspective on this situation because yeah, I can speak all
You
day
know what?
to it.
I've seen a bunch of different ones. Like, I seen some men saying like, it wasn't his job to do it, and I see some men like, why wouldn't you just buy a pizza? Like, nigga buy a pizza, and that's the end of that. Like, you know what I mean? I seen it both
Both
sides,
sides. Yeah, I did too.
but I
Like
think
you said, it
everybody
all
is in
comes from
agreement.
character. Yeah.
Alcohol was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that is it, and that is all on this. We could do an after show in a minute here. But I just want to say, men or women in this situation, we have to go do some soul searching.
Absolutely.
We have to start looking in ourselves when it comes to these situations and the things that we are presenting to these kids. You know, we say we want to break all these generational curses and we want to change the narrative and we want to change the trauma of what we experience, but then we have them watching us, and it don't matter how they watching us, they watching us.
Mm-hmm.
The oldest you can be with permission from your parent to be on any form of social media is 13. And so imagine that here we are supposed to be the example, and this is the example that we are setting for these kids who do have access to these platforms. What are we really telling them? Are we telling them that this behavior is okay? Or are we finding ways to correct it? Are we finding ways as men and women to where we can communicate? You know, things like this will happen in life. But what can we do to say that this is not what you have to be? So it becomes a thing of are we promoting what a family could be versus what a family is? Are we promoting that it's okay to stop being a parent, whether you are the parent or not the parent? I think it takes a brave person with a lot of courage and a lot of hope and a lot of aspiration and not nothing more but love to just walk into a family, whether you the man or you the woman, and say,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make this, I'm gonna make this house a home
Right.
in so many words. I'm gonna make this house a home of love, of hope and courage, and where
Mm-hmm.
you can have an opinion. And so I think that it all starts with us individually to reach into ourselves and, like you said, hold ourselves accountable. um we have to live with the decisions that we make as adults, and sometimes we don't think of the things that we do, how it would affect the people around us. And so it becomes as if we put ourselves in this selfish space, in this place, and at the end of the day, everybody is entitled to their own opinion.
Mm-hmm.
um but we have to make sure that we are presenting to these kids healthy, relatable topics, because for me yesterday it was interesting to interact with Tierra kids on this topic,
Mm-hmm.
where you had the girl who was like, he ain't wrong, but you had her son who was like, well, I at least would have brought a pizza,
Mm-hmm.
so it was interesting to watch a 16-year-old and a 14-year-old. I want to get his age right. Is he 14 here?
Mhm.
So it was interesting to watch
Yep.
our kids have to watch this play out,
Mm-hmm.
because The future is the internet. It ain't like how it was with us where we had the Nintendo, or we had a Atari, or if you was blessed to have those things in your household. But we literally had to go outside and socialize with each other. We played hide and seek. We played Mother May I. We played what was the one where all of the girls stood in the circle? How'd you do it? The games we played as kids, right?
Right.
Our kids don't know that because this is what they know. They know the social medias, they know YouTube, they know different ways, and they have TikTok. So imagine in my mind how many ever views that video may have got of her doing this exposed game, right? Imagine how many kids watched that and made up in their mind that in reality she was right.
Mm-hmm.
And then imagine how many kids watched it in the reality and said, no, he's right.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have created a situation for kids to have an adult conversation. And I think that's the problem. You have too many kids having adult conversations.
Absolutely. My kids can't have social media. They can't watch no TikTok, no Instagram, no nothing. Absolutely not. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. So I'm not ready for them to be exposed to stuff like that yet. And
So
that goes for all seven of them.
so that's
Ooh, child, come on over here and take these phones. My kids will be on the stove crying for dear life. Like,
but even with you taking the phone, that don't really have nothing to do with it because most stuff have a parental control setting on it. But these kids, if they are kids, then they smart,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
They smart. Our kids are smart because we are smart. I think it's more so about learning the emotional component of going somewhere and sitting down and healing.
Yeah.
Learning what's right for wrong. It could be easy to say that, even though again they say it was a skit, right? But in reality, you have kids that can go back and watch their parents argue on the internet. Over what though? Over some food?
Right.
Over some food. So we have to be more self-conscious with the things that we as people are putting out to the world, because if we are already trying to change the image of us, here we go again on the internet being the ghetto black people that they already think that we are. And I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with being that, because for us it can be a funny thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because for us, that's where we came from. I have a hard time with letting some things go because of the neighborhood that I grew up in, right? Because that's me. That's who I am. That's what groomed and growed me to put me on a path that I'm on. But what I want to do is I want to continue to further and change the narrative of what we're perceived. We can have all of this fun and all of these great things, but we need to figure out a way to do it in house. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We need to find a way to do it in house.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the biggest concern now that I sit and think about it. How many kids watch this video, or how many kids have knowledge of this video, and how many kids feel some type of way now because they know what it's like to be the kid that either got the meal or didn't get the meal. So now we got emotions that they got to go internalize on their own, because while the parents is all fighting on the internet,
Mm-hmm.
they really sitting there internalize. It's a child somewhere today sitting there internalizing either being the kid that get the meal, and how they gonna be petty about it. See, that was another thing too, because we good on the internet, right? Look at all of the posts that people made about like 60 million serves minus 4. But that was us as a people making light of situations that are real in our everyday lives. So whether it was a skit or not, or whether it was reality for those two people who made the video, shout out for bringing it to the light. Shout out for getting us to talk about it. Shout out for us trying to evoke, for those of us who want to evoke change with it. Shout out to that. And then, just in the words as a woman, be kind to the next woman that you see, because you don't know what her situation is. To some of the low down dirty things that I seen on the internet yesterday from women to another woman, it saddened me that as in 2022, this is where we are as black women.
Mm-hmm.
Because why couldn't her opinion just be her opinion?
Right.
Why she have to be all of these things just because she chose to have an opinion on a situation that struck home to her? Why did black men yesterday, same thing with the black men, why did we have to attack each other the way that we did just because we had an opinion on a situation that clearly runs deep to the people who have kids, to the people who don't have kids? Why couldn't it have been a building situation on how we could possibly do better? What things can we change? What feelings or healing can we mend as a community versus attacking each other? And that's what I didn't understand, was the blatant attacks of me having an opinion, right? Because nobody's opinion was wrong in this situation, because at the end of the day, the conclusion that we all can come to is that all of the kids needed to eat.
Mm-hmm.
But how did we go from having these generations that made it happen, Captain, to a generation of playing the finger pointing game?
Because they was one of the kids that didn't get that meal.
But you a kid now that can make, because I'm pretty sure you a kid that made it to, because I'm a kid that made it to where I'm gonna have every meal that I want. I recently had to tell somebody it ain't a table that I ain't gonna go sit at that I can't afford to eat at. Because if I made my way to go sit at this table, I can afford to pay my weight
Right.
in gold. That don't mean nobody come ask me for nothing, because the answer is no. But just for me, right? Cause I was that kid. I was that. I'm not saying I was that kid, right? Because my mama used to get mad at me because my sister used to tell me to tell people we didn't to eat. That was my favorite thing to go to. But I don't know, because my grandma, I knew she was gonna go get us what we wanted anyway. So when we got to my grandma's house, yeah, I would tell my grandma my mama didn't feed us. Whole lie. Whole lie. Because I knew my grandma was gonna make my grandfather go get us some White Castles.
Right.
I knew she was gonna make George go down on Gratiot and French Road to go to go to White Castles to get us some burgers. I knew she was gonna make him go around the corner in the morning to Save On and get us whatever snacks we wanted. Even though my mama may have sent snacks and food with us,
Mm-hmm.
but I knew if I told my grandma my mama didn't, she was. She was gonna make sure we ate.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm confused on how did we go from this to that? And how can we correct it without attacking each other? Because we should be able to have these healthy, debatable conversations.
Without belittling each other.
Oh, teared and disappeared. All right. So before I go, or before we go, do you have any final thoughts?
It's okay to have disagreements. You don't always have to agree with the person's views or opinions, but there is a way of going about it. You can have healthy conversations and have a debate and without talking down on one another or belittling one another. So that's my take on
Um, Feed the kids.
it.
Make sure you are in a place to feed your kids when you out here having these kids. Man or no man, woman or no woman. Feed the kids, okay? Apparently, just feed all of the kids. But yes, let's get to a place where we are doing everything in the conscious of that. These kids is watching us. And we can't be making it cool to where these kids can't have opinions and have healthy opinions, that they can have healthy debates and conversations
Mm-hmm.
about. Because at the end of every conversation that we have as a community, we should be coming up with solutions. And then we should be evoking those solutions so we can become better as a community. Excuse me. I'm gonna try to see if Tierra got back on here. Uh-oh. I'm gonna try to see if Tierra didn't jump back on here. If she did, we gonna come on, let her add her back on in. It say we could not add the guest. Let me see if I can FaceTime time her so she can get her final word in. Um, try to FaceTime her so she can have her final word. It's okay. Okay, so we about to have final word, Tiara. I don't know what's going on with
Yeah, it's a signal.
That's fine. So what will be your final word to this episode?
Well, to the people, um, worry about fix your character, and then you need to pay attention to the character of the person that you having some kids with, and feed all the kids. Feed all the kids. Don't sell the stamps to get your nails done.
Uh,
But I do buy stamps just in case
okay.
anybody needs to know. I do buy stamps because I got 4 kids and they real greedy, and I can go to church 3 times a week with no stamps. And I'm all for the stamps. So if
Invite her
you
to the
are that
woman's
character,
thing.
please consider me to
Get her
enter
to
my
come.
page for the stamps. And that's
I was about to say because as single people, we don't even look. I don't even want to get into the single person debate of not even being able to get stamps. Because every time I apply for food stamps, oh yes, I apply for them, just being petty about it. Because ain't no way you gonna tell me that I can afford. Look. This gonna be a real fat person moment for me. Okay, I remember going in the store to get some Chippehoys. Them Chippehoys used to be $2.55. Now just from the family pack to the regular pack, it is only a 23-cent difference. Now, how you think me as a single person who want to go get my cookies and ice cream because I'm single and I don't got nothing to do on the weekend because I don't got no kids, lack thereof, some other things. What you want me to do? I cannot afford my weekend relaxation now because of inflation. So I'm just saying to the oranges, not the apples, because we know the real apples. You know, y'all making it happen, captains. I ain't gonna say that I will or I won't, but that's another stigma that they have of the black community is that all we do is sell our food stamps to get our hair and our nails done, and then it really be like forget them kids. But that is not, huh?
but whack. Cause you on a Facebook Live. You got weed. You got a whole frontal. You got eyelashes.
Girl,
They
them
was
lashes,
big like
them
curtains.
lashes was saying, "Hi, bird."
They
That's
were so big like curtains. You got your nails slayed. Let me tell you, I'm a mama. I ain't got no fingernails. I ain't had my hair done in 3 months. Listen, but my kids got food. They got clothes. They got everything that they need. Nah, me. You know, if they want to donate to the mama fund, I'm all there for that. But the kids, we good. We good on the kids.
well. That is it, and that is all. And thank you all for tuning in to episode 2 of Did the Government Destroy the Black Family? And again, I'm going
Oh yeah,
to go back to the
they did.
man in the house law.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it did tear down the black family, and so um, tune in next month. We got some really good episodes coming for y'all. I have a ladies' night coming. We're gonna try to do this thing more virtual, more times. I'm gonna have an all males night. So it's just sometimes it ain't about just all about us as the women. As you just heard women sit on here and say, why it always got to fall on the women. So I'm going to definitely have an all males night. I got some good other guests and some more excellent co-hosts coming for you guys. Thank you so much for just rocking with me here, y'all. And again, that's it. And that's all podcast with Alena, my amazing co-host. And again, my locticianist, Miss Miko. Again, you can find her on Instagram. I don't know if you can find her on Facebook, but I know for a fact you can find her on Instagram at Twist for Tots. You can definitely book her through Square.
Yes.
Are you on any other booking websites?
No.
No. So we'll make sure that we get all of that information for y'all. If y'all would like to get at my cousin or my friend, her name on Facebook is Tierra Monique. Make no doubt about it, y'all wasn't just speaking to a mother that is on welfare. You actually was just speaking to a nurse. I'm gonna just throw that out there. So you were speaking to a nurse, okay? You were speaking to two women, or listening to two women who I call the apples of the oranges because they are exceptional mothers. They are exceptional women. I could go on to speak to their character and who they are. Um, but if y'all want to get at Tierra on Instagram, it's nurse
Nurse cheesy.
nurse Teasy. You know she from Detroit. Nurse Easy, okay? So that is it, and that is all. And thank you all for tuning in. And again, y'all have a blessed night. Good night.
Good
All right,
night.
love you.
Love
See you,
you.
girl.